Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. It's where I talk about random topics on the way to work. Today's a bit of a cloudy day, which is going to be interesting. It might mean that we're coming into autumn. Random fact of the day. It is a podcast where I talk about sensitive topics, so if you're not ready to hear about sensitive topics, of course, don't listen. It's not just a case of, oh, that might hurt my feelings. It's some in-depth stuff about some personal stuff, and I don't tend to have a filter because I want to know about everything. And if you want to know about everything, then you're going to have to, give to get, essentially. You've got a bunch of people that are nosy, for example, probably watching my podcast right now going, oh my god, I can't believe you said that. But if you want to understand everything, you've got to be open to expressing everything, or as much as you can, and within certain confines. You're not going to go bucking nuts and say we need to have some kind of mass genocide to solve a problem. That's probably not exactly the kind we want to do. We know that's bad and we don't want to do it. There are thoughts that I express that are my own, but not... Jesus Christ. I left my house, didn't I? Drivers. That are not exactly in line with everybody else's. And one of the perks of having autism is that you tend to be more open-minded when it comes to looking outside social cues and boundaries, because you don't have any, pretty much. As much as I'd like to fit in, I know I'm not gonna, so I don't bother. But yeah, and I swear a lot as well because I just enjoy swearing. I don't understand why we should be punished for certain noises. It weirds me out. It's like, you can make that noise, but you can't make that noise. But you can make that noise in certain contexts. But we're not going to use it in front of those people because it might offend those people. But they know that noise, so why are we not allowed to use that noise? Because it's bad. Is it? But I used it in that context. So you've got this whole overthinking thing going on where it's like, I don't get it. So anyway, I swear because I enjoy it and it annoys people. Yeah. And I like annoying people because I've been a good girl my entire life, and it's about time I got to be the villain. I'm a terrible villain. The worst thing I do is overdose on sugar. It's worse. It's terrible. I get to be the bad guy. Fuck. Shit. What are some other ones? But anyway, alright, so the topic for today is, I wrote it down, extroverts. I'm not an extrovert. I don't have those social skills. I barely got this hang of social cues, and that's only because I've had that much repetition and exposure to certain things that I know this is a social rule, and so we have to keep doing it. I of course need justification as to why we need to keep doing it, because a lot of this shit's irrelevant. Like my parents, for example, my mom, even though she was rough as fuck, she beat the fuck out of us, she wanted us to be ladies, so I know the rules that go with, fine dining and stuff like that. I'm going, why? There's a mismatch here. It's like, unless I'm going to beat someone to death with a shrimp fork, it's like, why? I know which spoon to gouge your eyes out, John Wick style, I've got skills. I can melon ball and your eyes, it's weird. There's a lot of skills and norms and values and things that we learn that are slightly irrelevant in this time period, for example, you've got, what are some things that are irrelevant? I don't know, I'm just going to stick with swearing. I like swearing. We're not supposed to swear. I mean, I know of some people that are better off and they don't swear. Oh, don't swear, don't do that. Oh, you said fuck. It's like, oh, fuck off, vanilla. It makes life more interesting. I'd rather have more interesting people with rich background, not monetized rich. I'm talking about spiritually rich, life rich. You've come from all different walks of life and you've got understandings of different things, and we can share our information and experiences. I'd rather have that than some rich white dude. Sorry, that's my ringtone. Did you hear that? Cha-ching. Totally a Taurus. But I'd rather have people with different life experiences contributing their stories and narratives to the conversation and exclude people because they said the word fuck. It's like, who cares? And it's fun to say, isn't it? And it covers all bases and feelings, really. It's like, I'm fucking happy today. Oh, I'm fucking angry today. It's great, it's an extension of, documentary, I think it was on Netflix, where they go into swear words and things like that. It's great fun, because they talk about the history of it, where it came from, and it's, you know, sort of literary origins and what culture is, and the depths of meanings it has. I can't remember, it's one of the English ones. Someone from like the BBC or something did it. It's great. I'm sitting there going, we are talking about swear words and it's fun, you know, and educational. Yes, so getting back on topic, because I need my post-its. Extroverts. I'm not an extrovert, I'm an introvert. I had selective mutism growing up because of my ASD. My younger sister, Pookie, is an extrovert. Her name's not Pookie, it's her nickname. We had this Garfield thing going on because I was ginger. Yeah. Looking back, it's kind of insulting. I do like lasagna though. But she was my Pookie little teddy bear, because she was my comfort, and I used to shove her out in front and she used to talk for me. I'm pretty sarcastic as a kid though growing up, so it's kind of like Garfield. But she used to talk for me, and she is, I don't know if she's a natural extrovert or she's been sort of forced into the situation, but she can walk into a room, she's got that kind of mindset and skill set where she just makes friends with everyone. She can just walk in and it's like water off a duck's back. I walk in, I'm sitting there scoping the area trying to see which one of these fuckers is going to start some shit. I am not that kind of person. I walk in and I might be smiling and waving, you know, like, but at the same time I'm like, where's the first hit coming from, you know, sort of thing. And that could be a trauma response, it could be just being very protective of myself in general. I have trouble understanding the actions and the behaviors of other people, and to a certain degree I know I need to participate in this kind of stuff to get the show running. So I'm wondering what the first act will be so I can react appropriately and nobody cries or hits me. So so I am useless when it comes to anything like flirting or making the first move with guys, because I'm just like, you're a boy, you're meant to make the first move, and then I react because I'm a girl, and if I make the first move, then I come off as a slut. And you know, that's what I've been, you know, programmed to believe, and it's partly true, because, you know, you don't want to seem eager apparently. But it does kind of leave you at a loss if you want to make friends with someone and you don't understand quite how you're going to do it. Like, you get past 30, even just getting out of high school, when all your friends have, you know, buggered off because they're starting their families and getting their show running. So you want to make new friends. So where do you go to make new friends? I'm sitting there going, I don't drink, I don't go to bars. That's most of the time I'm told where people make friends. When I go to the gym, I go to train. I'm a functionalist. I'm not going there to make friends. I made friends in my yoga class, but then I moved, so it's like I kind of semi-lost those friends because they're at a distance now. So it's tricky making friends, and it's even harder making friends when you're not understanding the nuances of what's going on in the group. The last social group I didn't really... I mean, there was a huge age gap as well, so we were in different phases of life, so there was no point trying to make any kind of ground in that group. But they were there for different purposes than I understood. I thought we were just hanging out and having fun. No, they weren't. There's some kind of fucked up weird mind games there where everybody's sort of backstabbing each other and stuff, and I sat there and I went, I don't want to do this. This is not what I remember from my 20s with my friends, what we were doing. We were all just hanging out and no one was trying to, you know, do one over on each other. So it was really weird to see it this way, sort of in hindsight, really. So I knew that group was a mismatch from what I wanted to do, so I didn't bother going back, really. I didn't bother keeping in contact with anyone because I'm like, well, if you're part of this group, you're probably going to try and act like this group, so I'm not going to extend a friendship outside of that particular experience. So you do you. If that's what you want, that's what you want in your life, then you go for it. It's not me. It's not what I would want to keep perpetuating, so off you go. I'll find something else to do, and I've been pretty good that way because I'm an introvert. I tend to entertain myself. I can sit for hours just doing random shit in my house. It's like, people are like, don't you get lonely? I'm like, no. It's great. I love it. I've watched documentaries like 1 billion times over and eat snacks and sleep and do fuck all, really, and I don't have to put on the airs and graces of trying to fit in with people and sort of submitting to what kind of behaviors they're assuming is expected of me in that particular arena. It's great. You can just stay at home and you don't have to act. Not that that I really act, to be honest. It's like I'm generally an okay person when it comes to other people. I have a problem with the fakeness side of things. I really do. When people are faking it, I can read it straight off the book. I don't need to read into that too much. I can see people are being fake because I've been exposed to it in the workplace that long enough that I know someone's being fake. And when it's in the workplace, it's because of professionalism. You've got those high-pitched, like I was talking about the other day with the sports teacher I'm currently working with, where she's got that high-pitched, forced politeness, like, oh my god, and everything's super positive, and oh my god, and you sit there going, please fucking stop. You're making my soul crush. You know, it's like, I can't handle the cringe that comes with your personality, or at least the personality you're trying to push. It's nauseatingly saccharine. Please stop. If you're upset or if you're having a bad day, please just show me you're having a bad day. Show me that you're not as fake as fuck and that you're human. I can understand that. I can sympathize and empathize with people that have got fucked up days and they're like, I just hate everyone today. I'm like, oh, tell me about it. I know, no, because I know that one. And then you go into this whole discourse about, it's like, I had a fucked up day and people just vent and rant, and I love it when they do that because I'm like, finally, realness. No pretenses where everybody's got to fake polite to people, and they're human, and I love to see people's energy when they're human, you know. A lot of society and the community and fitting in and belonging and all that bullshit is faking a persona, putting on a mask and an armor and trying to exist in this social structure where everybody's feeling like shit anyway and just trying to drag themselves along. That's what I associate with extrovertism. I'm saying some people are naturally inclined to be loud. I don't see it as a really good thing most days, because if you're loud and obnoxious, you're drawing attention to yourself. And from experience, and this could be a trauma response, from experience you should be acting more covert, keeping cards close, drawing attention to yourself and making it loud announcement that you're in the room and everyone's got to pay attention to you. To me, is just sticking your head above the trenches. You're going to get a shot off. That's just stupid. Not that I'm sneaky about things like that. I just think it's a more protective thing not to be an extrovert and loud, because it's often the loudest person in the room that's the dumbest, and now you've just drawn attention to how stupid you are. It's like people that might think, these are the same kind of people that think they're winning an argument by shouting louder. Is no. Your point is still invalid, you're just loudly, stupidly invalid now. It bugs the fuck out of me. And I don't like, it feels vain as well. There's an element of vanity in it. Attention-seeking neediness. And it could be a conditional response from the tall poppy syndrome, which, you know, you're semi-raised with. I don't know about in other cultures and stuff like this, but in Australia there is a strong sense of tall poppy syndrome, particularly in poverty areas, where if you try to reach for something else, or if you try to outgrow an area or do better for yourself, get a better life, people will cut you down. It's like crabs in the bucket. There's that metaphor as well. I've heard from somewhere, I cannot remember where. But crabs in a bucket will drag each other down to try, I don't know if they're trying to climb over each other or they're just, you know, but they're trying to drag each other down just to make sure they stay in the bucket. And so they're all kind of like semi-suicidal by proxy. You're killing each other for the sake of belonging in this bucket. Which is not good for growth, because you're just circulating the same shit over and over again. It's the same circular discourse. No one really grows from that. No one sees anything. But, you know, so I suppose extroverts have some kind of merit, but at the same time you've got to make sure you're an intelligent extrovert, not just one that waffles for attention. I waffle because I, you know, what do they call it? Info dumping. Yay, info dumping. I've been watching for a very long time and now I want to say something. It's not coherent all the time, and usually it's heavily caffeinated and it sounds a lot like waffle, and some people go, okay, just stop talking, and I'm like, no, I want to keep going. I got all this information just stored like a fucking hard drive in my brain and I want to get out. And I get excited about it as well, because some people can pick up on the aspects of it and say, oh, I know it, it's relatable. I'm like, finally, I'm fitting in with something, you know? And it's a rewarding experience to be able to talk about, you know, weird shit that people find entertaining and stuff. And from an autistic viewpoint, I know I've done a lot of weird shit, or I had a lot of weird shit, or I've been weird and trying to understand what the fuck's going on. And the meaning and stuff I've made from the experiences I've had is I know weird. I grew up on like watching Mr. Bean. To me, what he was doing in those series was perfectly fine. I'm going, he's right. Like when he's sitting on the bench and he wants to dry his lettuce, what does he do? He sticks it in a sock and swings it around his head. It's like, well, yes, that makes perfect sense because it will get dry. I mean, the sock is absorbent. I mean, it might stink a bit and you don't want to deal with the bacteria, but at the same time, it got dry, didn't it? And he's using centrifugal force, and that makes sense. It's like, yeah. So my brain's a bit weird that way. Most people go, ugh, and I'm going, ee. It makes sense. You know, it's weird. I don't know. I got a weird brain. But, you know, it just doesn't make sense that extroverted people would, you know, don't draw attention to yourself, I don't think. But then again, we need leaders, and leaders need to be able to arouse the psyche of the masses, so they usually do it with volume. Have you ever watched like a Trump rally? Oh my god. You ever watched like those old lectures in the documentaries that Hitler used to do? It seems very much like a Trump rally because they all get excited and heated up, and this little guy with a mustache is sitting there going, "Wait, me," and Trump's doing the same thing except he's going, "Oh, no, 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 no." And I'm not watching actual content because it's all bullshit. It's politics. I don't really. I'm sitting there going, "You're fucking lies anyway." It's stupid. But I'm looking at the gestures and stuff because I'm fascinated by how they behave and how they interact with the people to get them to do these things. And the content's usually crap. It's usually false promises made on some kind of mass harvesting of information of the clientele that they're trying to convince to vote them in. It's all bullshit. It's all a PR stunt. But at the same time, it's the mannerisms that go with it that sort of try to elicit a response from the crowd. And when the kids, I say kids, they feel like kids mentally. When the adults, when the crowds are on board with this bandwagoned idea, they tend to want to follow. And I'm sitting there going, one, that's manipulative because you know once you get to the, you know, the proof of the pudding, it's just not going to be there. But they've jumped on this whole, here's our Dorito flavored colored savior, we're going to keep going. And of course, even though he's had this many bankruptcies, he's totally viable as a leader. We're going to keep going with him, and he definitely won't fuck us financially. Make America great again. It's like, you know what he's actually doing, right? And, you know, everybody says, oh, well, Biden's just as bad. I'm sitting there going, he didn't walk you into a war 3 times in the first 2 years of his presidency. He might be old and senile, but he's the lesser of the evils, really, isn't he? So maybe that's how he got voted in. I don't know. And he's got a bunch of people around him supporting him. He was not so much the leader, I think, that everybody wanted. He was more like a buffer to stop Trump getting in. That's what I think it was. Looking at the situation, you know, from hindsight. And I'm not American. I don't understand, or I don't, you know, subscribe to the whole amendments and things like that. I don't understand it. Or, like, I know when Prince Harry cracked the shits about, I think it was gun control or something like that, everybody cracked the shits because it's, oh, you're British and you don't understand what's going on. These fuckers are trying to die today. Just pulls out. And I came from a British Commonwealth background. I live in Australia, so I don't exactly have the insider information, but I'm watching from afar, and I don't have the tainted view of the patriotism which it is to exist within America. I think they're very biased because they've got this whole communal sense of it's patriotic, we have to get in this, and we got American rights, and we got to understand everything from the inside. It's like, I don't understand things from the inside, and there's a lot of holes and gaps in my understanding of that. But watching a figure like that leading a bunch of people like those, and I'm sitting there going, I can see the tricks and you know, the tribulations which are coming from those particular behaviors. I'm sitting there going, you got to look out of this, somehow look outside of this critically, because he's not done much for you. He's done a lot for himself and tried to cover it up, but for the people itself, you're still in the same situation you would have been had you, I don't know, voted for Hillary or whoever was running at the time. These people aren't really there for the people anymore. They're there for their own selfish gain. And looking at Trump financially before he ran for presidency, for example, look at what he was doing with his own money and his own estates and things like that. He wasn't looking to benefit anyone else. He was looking to benefit himself and his family line. And that's what most people of that era, from the 80s greed era, and that particular, I want to say, can we generalize sex/gender, ethnicity, are looking to do. If you're an old ass white rich man, you are looking to benefit yourself. That's the mindset that they're taught from scratch. That's why they go to these heavily expensive universities in order to pump themselves up in the long term. They're not really going there to help other people on a lower scale who don't have access to these high up universities, you know, and things like that, the education systems which promote this kind of position in the society. They're not looking to help, you know, black people in Philadelphia. They don't give a fuck. They're here to milk them for money if they got it, possibly eradicate them if they can, because they want to gentrify the area, and, you know, and pump their own agenda. If they can make money off it, they will. That's how it goes. I'm almost surprised that Trump got voted in, to be honest. I'm sitting there going, you let the devil in through the front door. It wasn't even the back door. It's like, what were you doing? It's like, he looks right. Come in, have some biscuits and some tea. You'll be fine. You've been bankrupt how many times? Oh, don't worry about it. It was a mistake. We'll let you go this time. All right, now you're bankrupting the country. It doesn't seem legit. You know, it's strange, but people will worship these extroverts because they're loud and they bring an agenda and a sense of purpose, and you think if they're loud, they know what they're doing, and it's like, they don't fucking know what they're doing. If they do know what they're doing, they're looking to push their own stuff and promote themselves, and it's an ego trip or egomaniac situation, or it's, I'm going to milk these fuckers for what they got because they're small-voiced and weak. It's not always the loudest voice in the room that is the best room. Sometimes it's the quiet voice that's the voice of fucking reason and common sense going, not this one. You know, look to the back row, the people that are sitting on the wall or sitting behind the wall. Behind the wall, particularly if it's an explosive arena, right? I was like, we know what's going to happen. You know, it's the quiet ones you got to watch. And that is so true even in the political sphere. It's one sitting in the back, up against the wall flowers, everybody fucking ignores, but it's the ones that you ignore that have got the most sway, most likely. It's in the royal family, it's the men in grey suits that are the quietest hand, but they're the hand, they're the force. It's you know, all the royal family is the glitterati on it. It's not actually a purpose-built machine anymore, it's the grey men that control everything. And it sounds a bit Illuminati really, doesn't it? But you know, it's true though, and it's with any business structure there is. It's the workers that dictate how the business runs. It's not the person at top going, I'm barking orders. It's the workers. You can have all the best admin in the world, and if you've got shit workers, then the business is still going to go tits up. You know, it's the foundations. And as I said before with the chess analogy, it's not the king that's the most valuable piece, it's the chessboard. Without the chessboard, which are the workers, the king doesn't exist. You can topple that easily. Or just give them a different rank, or just flip the whole board and it's fucked. You know, it's, people get so much caught up in the I'm at the top dog, the top of the ladder shit, and it's relative, to be honest, and it's always temporary. I mean, how many dictators have we seen fall? Hitler was a prime example. He was a loud little bastard, wasn't he? Mind camping all over the fucking place, shouting his little, I won't do it because I think it's nauseating to watch, to be honest. I won't do it. And he was shouting, and it was the shouting and the energy, and it was hyping up the crowd and trying to get them to, yeah, we know what we're doing, we're going to do this, and we're going to fuck things up, and I don't speak German, by the way. So if you understand that and can translate that, please tell me in advance if he ever does say, we're going to fuck shit up, because inevitably he did. So, but in not a good way. But the crowds were like, yeah, he's got so much energy and enthusiasm, we'll go with him, he's loud, he's an extrovert, it's great. And then look what the fuck happened. These ideas were not the great ideas that they thought they were going to be. I mean, maybe he lied to the people, which is understandable. I mean, who would honestly let someone get away with genocide? It's insane. That's just as a practice in itself. I'm not particularly, you know, it's just, it's crazy. I'm not leaning towards a cultural bias of any kind. I'm not saying, like at the moment, at the time we all felt sorry for the Jewish people, right? Yep, tribes of Israel. Okay, because it was mass genocide. This is a disgusting crime and should never be happening again. But now at the time we got, like Israel's kicking off doing other stuff in different countries. So how do you feel sorry for those people who are sometimes, you know, doing what they had done to them but passing it on? So it's, how do you feel sorry for it? So we can't really take sides at this point in time when it comes to any of the wars that are kicking off right now. You're sitting there thinking, I can't pick a side. These are all doing the wrong thing, and ultimately the wrong thing is war. To me, war is a sign of leadership failing. It's you're sacrificing your people for your own ego, consuming your own people at times. You're starving them, freezing them. They've got no stability, they've got no one to follow because the person they're following is toxic as fuck and willing to throw them into the fire just to win a argument, you know? And they're never on the ground with their people. The Zelensky guy is somewhat of a semi exception because he is in the trenches, but at the same time he's still semi out of it. He's going off to meetings with different other politicians and stuff like that. But the other ones, they're just sitting in their ivory towers. They're well protected bunkers. I mean, look what Trump did as soon as those riots at Capitol Hill took off. He went fucking bunker. He's like, I ain't getting involved in this. I'm protected. I got enough money and guards. Keep me safe. I might have encouraged you fuckers to do this, but fuck you if you think I'm going to take the, result of it. And people got injured. People died in that. Just because he, elicited a response from the crowd that involved some kind of bandwagoning, jumping. People aren't thinking when they get caught up in the fury and the energy of these people, these extroverts that take control of the crowd and tell them to just direct that energy somewhere else. They get caught up in it, and it makes people liable. And it's, again, not the smartest person in the room that's making these points. Often it's a case of the person who's got the most grip on the balls of them. It's like, what do they want? How can I manipulate it into my agenda to push for a particular action? It's cruel because the people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what information they're working on. Usually it's misinformation. And they're working on the pretense that they know they've got a known villain and they have to act against it. We don't know for sure because people, behind the curtain, and that's with every society, there's always someone behind the curtain. It's not just with the Illuminati or it was with the grey men in suits, Are they aliens? No, hang on. They're not. They're people. They're just I would say they're probably an offshoot of MI5 or something like that. Someone who knows the intel of the political sphere. You'd have to, wouldn't you? In order to organise what's going on with the royal family. But at the same time, you don't know what's going on behind the curtain. It's very much Wizard of Oz, Dorothy. It could be just an old little man who's pissed off with the world, who's taking it out on a shitload of the masses, or they say maybe a certain amount of people need to, shall we say, perish in order for this to go ahead, and so we'll instigate a war, or or I don't particularly like that actor in this scene, which is the political scene or the social scene. So shall we say Epstein, for example? It's about time he went missing, and that's a lot. That's going on quite a lot now. People just go missing or accidentally die in prison, or you sit there thinking this feels sus. There's a lot of that, but that's been going on for millennia. That's only because people have started spreading information about it. It's like making awareness about it. Ooh, it's getting hot now. Air conditioning. Oh, my old car didn't have air conditioning. This is nice in summer. It's nice because my ex-husband broke my windscreen and we got glass in the air vents and could turn the aircon on without glass shooting into our eyes. So it's nice to have aircon. Weird experiences. But be mindful of the extroverts. Just because they're being loud doesn't mean they're right. It's the critical thinking skills that nobody seems to want to address when they're in the heat of the moment and joining in because, patriotism and all that fucking bullshit. I mean, as a British person, I was raised British, to be honest. I got Irish Union and Danish Viking, for fuck's sake. But as that kind of person, there's a certain level of cynicism when it comes to political agendas and parties. It's like, we have them, but we don't believe them. It's like, whereas the Americans tend to jump on board and start, shouting about their rights and amendments, and they're saying, oh, my rights and amendments. And they seem to have that shit from as soon as they hit school, if not beforehand, they have developed some kind of political agenda of their own where they value politics, and that comes from the essentially just independence from the colonies, or colony independence from Britain and that. Because it was such a big thing that happened at the time, they tend to carry the effect of it down the line. Everything has a greatness to it when you've never been known as great. So, we're great too. Sure you are, mate. How's your healthcare system? We got free healthcare. Have you? No, I don't think so. How great is that? I could rag on them all day. I won't though, because I kind of feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for Canada. Those guys are doing brilliantly, but they're not American, are they? They're part of the British colonies. Technically, they're part of the Commonwealth. We love them. And they're so nice. They've got nice manners. I love those people. Anyway, yeah, so when I mean, even in the immediate sphere, when I go into a social group, I don't tend to side with extroverts. I don't like them. Besides the fact that I got like sensory issues where loud noises fuck me up, and PTS when loud noises fuck me up. If you walk into a room and you're the loudest person in the room, I will tend to back away from that. I don't want to know. I can't handle people that are hyperactive because it's too much energy sitting in front of me, and it's like, fuck away from me. It's like, you crackhead, get away. There's way too much energy. I can feel that fizzing away. I don't like it. It agitates me. So if I was ever in a crowd at the Trump rally, I probably would try and get a puck away from it, because it would just be too overwhelming, too much of a sensory overload. I don't like that shit. I don't like loud noises. I don't even like busy farmers markets, for fuck's sake. It bugs the shit out of me. Like if I have to go in and get my rainbow fruit box like I do on a weekend, which is just cut up fruit, I love it. I tend to find an angle I can get in where I don't have to weave through crowds and shit to get to it. Generally because it's just uncomfortable being that close to people, and the smell and the, like noise, and I'm not interactive. And that's ASD, that's trauma response, that's generally bad experiences with people, not wanting to be near them. So that's a natural inclination towards introversion anyway. Some people are energized by interacting with others. I'm drained. I hate it. I don't, which is why I've got like a handful of friends on my Facebook. I don't collect people. If I don't know that I'm going to interact with them or see them as any kind of valuable person to my life, I don't do 1,000 friends on my Facebook, because I'm not people hoarding. I don't need the external validation. I have internal validation. I'm happy with who I am. Cash register again. I don't seek other people's approval. I'm also a Sigma, so it's like I can exist on my own. I don't need some people are talking about alphas and sigmas. Like at one point alpha was a good thing because it meant you're a leader and stuff like that. But if you're a sigma, you can still lead and just get on with it and not have to worry about what other people think. Gain their approval, get their publicity votes. That bugs the shit out of me. It's like the royal family at the moment is surviving on social updates. It's like, what is my ranking amongst the other divas in this room that are overpaid for no fucking reason? Oh, I'm better than Harry today. Oh, great. What about tomorrow? Oh, but Harry's winning. Oh, no. It's like, I mean, you grow up in a poverty area in that kind of mindset. Who gives a fuck what someone's saying about you? You get on with it as long as they don't punch you in the face long enough to fucking stop you from working. You keep going, don't you? You don't care what people say about you. It's like, I don't give a fuck. What's going on between the girls? I'm laughing my ass off about this. It's like, Meghan Markle said so and so about Kate, and I'm going, bitch, you want to survive 5 fucking minutes in my... Someone looked at her funny. And all of this is the mass media feeding into hysteria or drama. People live generally mundane lives, 9-to-5 lives, where we're just trying to get along, get our resources together, and get the fucking show running. So when an anomaly comes out, like someone getting their feelings hurt because they looked at them funny, we tend to piss ourselves, or we feed into the drama. We go, oh my god, yes. Celebrities, oh my god, they're catfighting. When in reality, if you grew up in the area I grew up in, someone had a problem with you, you'd probably have your head dented. It's like, someone looked at you funny, well, there goes your car. It's going to be on fire next week. It's like, it's not the same. It's like, and then they talk about, what is it where they slag each other off and it affected my career? Have you ever heard the phrase sticks and stones? If anyone actually believed that shit, it would mean something, wouldn't it? What do they call it? It's not perjury. I keep having that word in my head because I watched the Johnny Depp Amber Heard court trial thing, like perjury. It sounds fun. It sounds like pigeon. Perjury. A defamation of character. That's the one. Defamation of character. And it can affect someone's career, but if the people who are hiring these people are subject to, bias because someone said something about someone without them actually fact-checking. Oh, it's one of my girls. Hello, baby. You would want to fact-check their character, wouldn't you? I mean, that's the problem with these people who are so extroverted that their entire existence is their brand. If you placed your entire value on what gossip's going around that makes you look bad or look good, or I mean, it's a scarlet letter to the whole situation, isn't it? Just because someone said it doesn't mean it's true. It's bullshit. Don't leave yourself open to that. I mean, introverts don't tend to do that. Don't tend to give a fuck. It's like someone doesn't like you. It's like, yes, one less person to annoy the fuck out of me. Woo! Extroverts. I'm making words up now. Extroverts are heavily reliant on the approval of others, because if they don't get that external validation, they tend to crumble. It's like, I have no self-worth, no identity. It's like, that's a problem in itself. You've got issues you need to heal, dude. One day you're going to be on your own, not be able to cope. So realistically, extroverts need to get their shit together. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people saying, you're just a hater. Like, what's your point? You're such a bitch. It's like, thank you. I don't care what you think. I don't at this point. I've been through enough wars and battles myself. I don't have to rely on you for any kind of approval, because I know what I can do. I don't want to belong to any social group or anything like that. I have no concept of how to belong to a fucking group, to be honest. From primary school or high school, which is the most socializing experience I've ever had, you're just supposed to exist in a room and everybody gets along, and that worked. And now suddenly there's all extra aspects where we need to, read into other people's behaviors and actions, but not actually see what they are for what they are, because that might hurt someone's feelings. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know why people fake that shit. It's crazy. Oh, fuck me. Why do these fuckers keep pulling up next to me? Like, next to me in a damn near empty car park. You can see I'm talking to myself, can't you? Leave me alone to my madness. I'm gonna get embarrassed. But no. She's gonna be like, why are you talking to yourself? I'm not actually. I'm talking on my phone. Stop being silly. But it's crazy. You shouldn't have to. And I'm not saying those people with natural inclinations towards extroversion are wrong. There's got to be a skill set where we need those people that are loud. But at the same time, it's like, don't believe these people are right just because they're the loudest in the room. Most of the time that they're just lying or being aggressive because they have some kind of insecurity that they need to push or heal, and they feel like if they get your attention, it will fix it. You get validation from other people following you around telling you you're wonderful. That's just an extension of narcissism. I never understood that, because basically growing up I didn't have someone telling me I was wonderful. I just got on with it. My mum and my dad were more of a case of, this is expected of you. We're not going to praise you for doing what you should be doing. I don't have the social approval side of things. I feel if I'm doing it right in myself, and I know I'm doing what I feel I should be doing with a sense of responsibility and accountability, that's self-worth in itself. Someone telling you you're a good boy and he's a bicky, fuck yourself, stop patronizing me. You're such a good boy, aren't you wonderful? Or those girls in the last social groups, you're so pretty, aren't you a good girl? Oh my god, haven't you got value? It's like, go sit in the corner and sniff the glue, would you? Try not to eat it though, because that will tell us something about you. But I don't know, it's crazy. I don't trust extroverts because they're often dumb and loud and drawing attention to their stupidity. So approach with caution. But at the same time, if you're doing it honestly with some sense of value because you want to draw attention to something that's worthwhile, that's not your fucking ego and self, then it's probably got a value and merit to it. So it's okay to do that. Although these are my opinions, so what the fuck do I know? So don't believe me, I'm insane. I'm going to leave it there because it's nearly 10 past my class time. Well, not class time. It's 8:15. Okay, it's 8:15. I need to be in my room. I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. Do I have duty today? No, thank God. Okay, alright, so I don't have morning duty. I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. It's Odin's day, and he's the one of the All Fathers, God of understanding and knowledge, and I hope you have a smart day and you use your brain and you'll get on with something and hopefully not lose your left eye to obtaining wisdom. If you're into the North mythology side of things, I am. It's great. It's my heritage. And take it easy, because we've got like Wednesday and then maybe payday tomorrow for some of us, not me. I've got alternative weeks. And then Friday's doing, and then we've got the weekend, and then just rainbow fruit boxes and relaxing and sleeping. And it's great. And I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday, and I'll see you later.